दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲನೆ
Hyderabad Express University Station, Netaji Road.
KKR came back to their fortress, rolled themselves a red carpet and steamrolled Hyderabad. They've gotten them all out for 120. Yes, the powerful Hyderabadi batting lineup has gotten all out for 120. Henry Klassen getting 33, Mendes getting 27, Varun Chakaravarthy picking up 3, Arora picking up 3, Andre Russ picking up 2. Welcome back to Volta's Fresh Air Coolers presents Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher. I'm in the house with 1.5 Bengalis, like I said, but smiling faces. Joyda, I like that relaxed sense that you have, that, oh, we had this in control. We knew this was going to happen. I like this relaxed you.
I was relaxed because the moment we saw that pitch in the first 20 overs, during the Kolkata Knight Riders batting, this was a really tough deal. And the moment they lost those first 3 wickets before scoring 10 runs, after that it was, merely we were filling in the details. This was this big win.
I'll tell you how relaxed Joy was. After the first wicket fell of Travis Head, he said Kolkata are going to win by 100 runs.
Oh,
they won by 80. Yeah. He said 100 runs right then, after the first wicket fell. And they won by 80. So that's how relaxed he was.
Well, he had called it. The prediction score was not quite what he called, but he had called this win, which is incredible. Joyda, we'll have a look at that bowling card because, like you said, it was pretty much over. We were just filling in the details. 3 wickets, the power play, second lowest power play, 33 runs in their power play. They gave away 3 and they took 3 wickets. But Rohan, very impressive by Vaibhav Arora, of course, getting head in that first over, just set everything in motion.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That just sort of the fact that they had 3 wickets for 9 down, 9 runs on 3 wickets, and then 33 for 3 at the end of the power play was all due to what these bowlers did. Vaibhav Arora then coming back towards the end and picking up that important wicket. Well, when I say important, in the sense, Klassen's wicket. And while it was maybe a bridge too far in terms of net run rate, which you spoke about in the pre-match show, should KKR be worried about net run rate? If Klassen was there till the end, then the margin of defeat would have been a lot closer. So, in that sense, a big wicket for Vaibhav Arora, Henrik Klassen. But all the bowlers did a magnificent job. The spinners came and played their part. The medium pacers, they obviously had a plan. They had a plan which they stuck to: take pace off the ball, bowl a few off cutters, let the pitch do the work, and it worked beautifully for them.
A very different bowling card from Hyderabad. It looks like 2 contrasting bowling cards. Like you said, there was a plan and they stuck to that plan. We saw Varun Chakaravarthy sticking to that plan. Once again, he's just that one person that batters just don't want to face.
Absolutely. But if you see the start, what he's talking about a plan, how detailed is the plan? Vaibhav Arora gets a bit of movement up front. So he was asked to pitch up, get a little bit of movement, and it worked for them because he got the wickets. The other side, Harshit Rana is taking, very rarely would you see somebody taking pace off the ball in the first 6 overs in the power play. But he knew there's nothing in the pitch. He's a hit-the-deck bowler. He's going to hit the deck hard. He's going to fly. So he's taking pace off the ball from the very top. And that, for me, that meant that these guys had sussed out these conditions totally. The word was that they were given 2 pitches. Okay, and one was slightly drier than the other, and they chose the drier pitch. And if Kolkata play in conditions like this at home, with these kind of pitches, with the kind of bowling that they have, they can defend even 150, 160 is defendable with the kind of bowling they have. So all I'm saying is that they've seemed to have hit that happy accident of the right kind of pitch with the right kind of attack. And that will presage well for them in the future.
Well, it started off really well, and when you get a start like that, it's very difficult to make a comeback. We were very far away from our prediction, but 33 for 3. You see these dot balls here, Rohan, it just doesn't feel like T20 cricket.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was 4 of the first ball, and then the next run, in the sense, 5 runs, more than 4, was scored on the 3rd ball of the 4th over. That's how good the power play was for Kolkata Knight Riders, especially when you're defending a score of 200. Imagine you're defending a score of 200 and at the end of the 4th over, you're about 12 or 14.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And 3 wickets. In
And
the
3
first
wickets down.
yeah.
That's and against this lineup. This SRH lineup we've been singing praises
Yeah,
about and saying, wow, is this the lineup that's going to cross 300? But again, hats off to the KKR bowlers. You spoke about the plan and say someone like, just take Rana taking the pace of the ball. And he's a hit the deck bowler. That would have been drilled into him in those 15 minutes and that change. You're saying, listen, doesn't matter if you get hit. All you got to do is bowl slow, take pace of the ball.
Exactly.
And Joyda, we were talking about this. There's something to Harshit. He just seems to be that wicket-taking bowler. Sometimes not the best delivery, but he gets the wicket and that's what matters.
Yeah. So Napoleon used to have this great quote. He says, they asked him, what kind of thing you want from your generals? He says, I just want them to be lucky.
Better a lucky general than a skillful one.
Skillful general. And exactly that. I mean, forget what it is. Harshit Rana, and it cannot be just luck because he has a knack for picking up wickets. And even of innocuous deliveries, he has a knack for picking up wickets. He just seems to get wickets. And it's very important to them. I mean, you look at it, what are the odds? You're looking on the other side of Klassen, Head, Abhishek Sharma, Ishan Kishan. Vaibhav Arora and Harshit Rana look dominating them. What are the odds of that?
Yes.
But I tell you, another bowler who was like that, Utpal Chatterjee. He had the knack. I'd be doing all the hard work.
Nicely.
From my head.
This is slyly.
I'd be bowling all the good balls and then he'd be bowling all that.
He's DM'd into the conversation, he sneaked into the DMs very easily. Okay, I was doing the bowling,
But
no, come on. You've taken an international wicket.
No, but that, obviously, David, I'm just kidding. David was a fan. For a lot of people who might not get the sense of humor and you might decide to say, what the hell is this guy talking? David was a fantastic bowler. I'm just being silly over here.
No, but like you're saying is you were doing all the hard work. I'm not trying to say it in that context, but Ajinkya did a lot of hard work with the captaincy today. All credit to the bowlers, but I thought it was very intelligent captaincy.
Yeah, well, look, obviously the captaincy is not just what he's been doing on the field. In the, overs that we saw. If we spoke about the plan, that plan would have been drilled into the bowler saying, listen, this is what we're going to do. There would have been clear lines of communication spoken to them in those 15 overs saying, listen, lads, 200, we've got a great chance of winning here if we stick to our plans. So Ajinkya, along with the coaches, would have spoken to the bowlers. And that, again, is captaincy. That, again, is leadership. Having clear communication throughout the team saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. Everyone knows their job. And see, the thing is, if a bowler is going to bowl slower deliveries, right, and that's going to be the plan, the fielders also need to know what's going to happen.
Yes.
As a keeper, Quinton de Kock would be standing a little three yards closer to the stump than where he would be otherwise, because Harshit Rana is a quick bowler. But if he's going to be bowling generally more slow ones, he'll be a little closer in case there's an edge and you take that catch. Fielders, again, would be saying, okay, listen, if there's no pace on the ball, a lot of batters, there might be a couple of yards closer because a lot of batters will be trying to get that once and cover the angles because the batter will have to generate all the pace on those pitches. So those lines of communication throughout the team, when you give that, it just makes the job easier for everyone.
Well, it sure made the job easier for him when Ajinkya throws the ball to Varun Chakaravarthy. You know that he's going to choke the batters for run and pick up the wickets, and that's what happened again today.
Yeah, he's been absolutely amazing. The last 2-3 years, he's probably one of the top 3 bowlers in this format, and he's been absolutely fantastic. I think the great thing about it is his ability to keep generating new balls every time he comes to the attack. 4 overs, 22 runs, 3 wickets. They are just not reading him. He's bringing variation after variation into play. And I think he's just staying ahead of the game, And the way he bowled today also, again, completely phlegmatic, very difficult, comes in the power play himself. And that's the thing, Sunil Narine at his peak used to be the 6th over, the last over of the power play. That place now Varun Chakaravarthy has taken, and it shows you, it's symbolic of how now the burden of the KKR attack is Varun Chakaravarthy is the leader of that pack, not Sunil Narine, Sunil Narine is one of the IPL greats.
Yeah, okay? T20 greats.
He's a T20 great, you're absolutely right. But right now, it's Varun Chakaravarthy who's leading that attack.
But Rohan, what is it that the batters are thinking when he comes? Why is he so tough to pick up? Is it the quick arm action or is it something else?
I think, I've got to be honest, I don't know. I've never faced him. I don't know what it is as a batter to be up against him when he's, whether you can make out from his action, whether it's like coming out of the front of the palm or back of the palm, is it a finger delivery? I don't know what it's like because I've never faced him. So it's obviously a combination of factors. Maybe they're not picking that up. Maybe they're not picking the gauge of how much it's going to sort of move after it pitches. What happens if you don't pick it out of the hand and you're waiting to pick it off the pitch? It's already a slightly defensive frame of mind. That is why what we've seen with Sunil Narine also, though his wicket-taking ability or wicket-taking factor has gone down, he's still very economical.
Yes.
Because a lot of, this is Sunil Narine I'm talking about, a lot of batters don't take risks against him. Because they feel, okay, listen, we're not picking him, we'll just go for 6, 7 and over and not give him enough wickets. I think that will also be the case with Varun. If you don't, soon he's picked up 3 wickets here, but if you, a lot of batters, if they're not picking him, will be saying, okay, listen, now, obviously, as Joy said, he is the guy who's shouldering the responsibility of the KKR bowling attack. So let's not give him wickets. What's his job for KKR is to pick up wickets and be economical, right? Now, if we can take away the wicket factor and let him just be economical, we can maybe, with the fact that we've not lost wickets to him, be a little bit more aggressive against the other bowlers, even someone like Sunil Narine now, because as Joy said, and we said, he's an all-time T20 great, but he's coming to the end of his career. And this is where you will try to be a little bit more aggressive against someone like Sunil and put pressure on him. While against Varun, you might be a little bit on the back foot and say, okay, listen, you know what, let's not give any wickets to him.
You know, Joyda, it's also a mystery spinner like him. The more he's seen, the more batters kind of understand what he's doing, but that's not happening with him. So clearly he's adapting very well.
He's adapting. He said himself he tries new balls, he tries new techniques all the time. So he's constantly staying ahead of the arms race because everyone had analysts doing anything. See, one of the factors you have to consider, especially with a bowler like Sunil Narine at his peak and even now, and Varun Chakaravarthy, is they're devastating for tail-enders. So what happens is in matches like this, when you think that the team can go to 140, 150, 160, they'll come in the end and, I mean, somebody batting at 8 or 9 normal, bowler is not going to be able to pick him. So you know what happens? They finish off the tail fast. So, you know, in matches where, say, a team dominates, they are very dangerous to at the end because they will pick up those extra wickets very quickly and finish it off. They'll close the tail very fast and that's great for your run rate as well. So all those factors, whenever you have a mystery spinner, those are all the factors that come into play for you. And I think right now, as I said, this is a perfect place. This pitch, this kind of pitch for the KKR batting and the KKR bowling is very suited because even an Andre Russell, he didn't get going today, didn't get an opportunity. But Andre Russell is strong enough on this pitch to lie back and hammer it out. I mean, the only 2 people who could have played on this pitch waiting for the ball to come to them was Klaasen and Andre Russell. They have that power. So this will suit them fine. And if the rest of the bats adapt like Venki Iyer and Rinku did, this is a great situation for them.
You know, you all have been talking about how Sunil Narine has been one of the greatest ever and IPL T20 legends. Do you think it's too early or do you see Varun filling those shoes very soon?
No, in terms of what Sunil Narine does for KKR?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Varun's already there. Not only just filling shoes soon, I think he's already there. I think the role that was Sunil Narayan's role for so many years for KKR is now Varun Chakravarthy's role. That's not to diminish the impact that Sunil Narine still has for KKR and in T20 cricket. But at this moment, I would have to say Varun Chakravarthy is playing that role of being the bowler that the bowling attack revolves around. If you need him to come and pick wickets up in the power play, it'll be, if you need a wicket, it'll be Varun Chakravarthy that will chuck the ball to.
Yes.
If he's got overs and you need to pick up a wicket or just just rein a little bit of control by stopping the flow of runs in the middle overs, Varun Chakaravarthy will be thrown the ball to. Because he's the guy, he's your go-to bowler now. While Sunil Narine was your go-to bowler for so many years, Varun Chakaravarthy is now your go-to bowler.
Well, he was an architect before he started Joyda. He's clearly demolished that building of SRH today. We'll have a look at the batting card. He did pick up the wickets later, like you said. He finishes off the tail end. Great start for KKR, but Travis said, Abhishek, we spoke about how if they go early, the pressure comes on, and that's exactly what happened to the middle order.
Absolutely. And actually the middle order has done decently compared to the top order. The top order has just been doing nothing for them, except for the first match. The big problem that they have is they haven't got partnerships. Their highest partnership, I think, was 37. and then there's a 35-run partnership. You needed partnerships. You needed to build. And you saw what happened with KKR. They had two very solid partnerships. I mean, first you had the Rahane and Antriksh Raghuvanshi. They steadied the ship from 16 for 2. And then the next big one where Rinku Singh and Venkatesh Iyer just absolutely massacred it in the end. And I think that is what you need. In this format, you needed one or two big, at times when wickets don't fall, you know, you're dominating. That's the only way you'll be able to score fast runs.
And do you think Nitish Reddy's shot was disappointing? Because the last match also was a very disappointing shot.
I think he'll be looking back at that dismal and saying, listen, I'm too good a player to be getting out like this. It was a bit of a nothing shot because he didn't really fully commit to it. It seemed like, you know, you give catch practice before the game starts. It was one of those where there's no power. He just chipped it in the air. Andre Russell had gone for plenty in that over. I think he went for 18 in that over. So it was just a bit of a nothing shot. And that was the time where if they had got that partnership that Joy is talking about, it just sets it up a little bit better for Verma and Henrik Klaasen. But it just didn't happen. They just didn't get partnership going. And again, Nitish Reddy he's too good a player to be...
Yes.
I think that's the thing. Too good a player to be getting out like that. We spoke about the fact that, you know, a little bit of luck for SRH. You look at Ishan Kishan's dismissal today. Struck it well. Excellent catch by Ajinkya. But he'll be thinking, listen, you know, I've hit that beautifully. You know, a little bit left and right and that's 4. Again, that's a little... I mean, a lot of people say it's skill to find the gap, you know... That's also a skill. You as a batter, you practice that. But sometimes, you know, you just go with the flow. You hit anything, straight in the hands. Done. What do you do? So then, I'm still going to say, like, look, you know, at the moment, they'll be down in the dumps, SRH. But they're still the team, you know, to beat.
No, they are a solid team on paper. We've been talking about plans and executing those plans. Do you think it felt like SRH didn't really have the correct plan in today or they didn't execute it?
Look, I was just looking at this pitch and wondering why somebody like a Zampa would have been really useful for this pitch.
Or batting second.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these situations, and I didn't see too much did you?
No.
So, I mean, there's lots of things. They'd be looking at themselves, Kavindu Mendis, okay, Kavindu Mendis didn't do badly for them, okay? But for the sake of their balance, can they afford to play Kavindu Mendis where they're playing? I mean, because these are all questions. You're playing Cummins, you're playing Head. You're playing Kavindu Mendis. Who was your 4th international player today? You didn't have a 4th international.
Klaasen, no, you had
Klaasen, Head, Cummins and Kavindu Mendis. Yeah. So those 3 will always play. So if your 4th is Kavindu Mendis, then that means that you're sacrificing one more bat out there. Unless you expect Kavindu Mendis to really give you runs in that middle order, or you need the additional fast bowler. I think somewhere... I don't think bowling is that much of a problem for them because they depend on being a batting heavy team, but they have to come good. Their top order, I mean, their top 3 batters can't, their top 3 batters have failed 3 matches in a row. And that's not, I mean, you cannot sustain like that.
But the good thing is the top 3 batters know there will be no changes in that top 3.
Yes.
Not only in terms of personnel where there will be drop, but even in terms of batting order. So when you know that, you've got a lot of confidence going into your next 2-3 games. Saying, okay, listen, you know, Ishan Kishan's got 100, so he knows, look, for a while I'm there. Abhishek Sharma and Travis Head with what they've done last year and what Travis Head has just been doing throughout, you know, the last 3-4 years, you know, like, okay, they're going to be there. So that confidence when the top 3 have, it's going to come good. You know, okay, they've had a bit of a lean trot right now, but I've always said you'd rather have a lean trot right now than towards the end of the season.
Well, we spoke about how this game was very, very crucial. So we'll have a look at that points table and see what's happened because those 2 points are going to be very crucial for Kolkata.
KKR has jumped 6 places from 10th to 5th.
Because also great net run
rate.
And
they have their run rate was minus 1.428 and now it's gone to a plus 0.07.
Yeah, 80 run victory. It's a huge margin. And I think those are the kind of things that make a difference because that 80-run victory really has now set it up for them. And I think it's a big thing, the kind of run rate they've made up. Of course, they could have made it up gradually as well. But the fact, it will be very heartening to them that, you know, they managed to wipe out that deficit in one match. And now KKR has had a bit of an interesting one, you know, lost one, won one, lost again, won again. So it's like, they're like, at the moment, they're alternating losses and wins. Now they'll say, okay, guys, we've got the formula right. We know how to play this. We know what our team can do now. Now let's steady the ship and now let's... I think this is a very defining match for them because I think they now know. And it was so important for Venkatesh Iyer and Rinku Singh to get runs. So
it'll be interesting to see what pitch Sujanda gives them next time.
Now Sujanda's under pressure.
No, but they'll go back smiling. They'll have a peaceful night's sleep. But I wonder what Cummins and company are going to do because you have that strong face, smile.
Yeah.
But 4 games, 3 losses. Is he still going to say we go big and not worry about playing safe?
He has to. I think because that's your strategy. You've made a team, you've built a team with that philosophy in mind. You can't suddenly now say, look, okay, we've had 3 bad results and we're going to suddenly change it around. Because that will lead to chaos within the camp. How do we approach? Do we not? Am I supposed to be aggressive? Ishan Kishan said, when he got picked by SRH, he called up Abhishek Sharma and said, what, do you all expect me to hit 6s from ball 1? And Abhishek Sharma said, yes.
Yeah, of course.
So they have a clear plan in mind. You can't now go about changing it because you had 3 bad results. Because this plan is what's going to make them succeed. So look, I don't think they'll change, and I don't think they should change the way they approach their batting, especially if they're batting first. Batting second, I've always said you've got to play according to what your target is in front of you and you've got to respect the conditions. Batting first, they're not going to change. And I actually think, like I said earlier in the show, they're still the team to beat.
You'll live by the sword, die by the sword. But there's one person who shouldn't change his approach at all is Venkatesh Iyer, who is our coolest performer, powered by Volta's fresh air coolers, powerful air throw, ultimate comfort. Really, really relieved that he's got these runs in today. Joyda 60 of 29, striking at 206, everything that KKR and Venkatesh Iyer wanted.
Absolutely. You know what's more important? He was about 10 of 12 balls.
Yes.
And I think that is really good. He saw the pitch and I think he later spoke about it also. The fact that, he knew that, okay, this is a pitch that you're going to play yourself in. He played himself in, but then having the confidence, the kind of hitting that he did towards the end once he had his eyes set was absolutely fantastic. I think he went after them and see, he has that ability because, he has, as they love to say, long levers. So his ability to be able to really thrash the ball, once you have those levers, you have that size, then you can really, give the ball some momentum. So I think he played a magnificent innings. And, lots of credit to him, lots of credit to Rinku Singh also for farming the strike to him and saying that, okay, you're the guy who's right now hitting it well. kept giving it back to him. That 78 runs in the last 5 overs was magnificent cricket. This was not an easy cricket pitch to bat on.
But Venkatesh Iyer had that price tag on his head. There was just, social media conversations, the murmurs put that stress on you. So these are very, very important runs for him.
Oh, absolutely. Because if not for anything else, but just to quieten the murmurs.
Yes.
Look, the value that a player gets in terms of the money that a player gets in the IPL is not a reflection of how good or bad he is. And for me, the prime example of that is Rinku Singh. For 2 or 3 years, he was going at 50 or 65 lakhs.
Yeah.
And that's not his worth.
Absolutely.
But no one will look at that and say, oh, listen, what's happening over here. It's only when the price goes higher that people say, oh, he's getting paid so much. Now, the fact that, well, not in this case, but in a lot of cases, in an auction, if someone goes for 15 crores or 20 crores, just throwing numbers out there, it means that there was another team that valued that player at a similar price.
One team cannot raise the price that high.
There's another team that valued a player at that price. So, I mean, it's obviously not just senseless throwing away of money. It's, and a lot of these IPL teams have enough think tanks and enough analysts saying, okay, listen, this is what XYZ is worth. So it's not just one team that thinks it, it's 3 teams that think it. So I'm really happy for Venkatesh Iyer because I think a lot of the chat what happens about, okay, listen, he's gone for so much money, he's not doing this. I think that chat needs to honestly stop because it's not his fault.
Yes, absolutely. It's not his fault. Even if the chat doesn't stop, we just want Venkatesh Iyer to keep his cool and constantly come and perform the way he did. He was our coolest performer, powered by Volta's fresh air coolers, powerful air throw, ultimate comfort. There's someone who wants comfort tomorrow. because both these teams are taking on a very, very interesting game tomorrow. Lucknow take on Mumbai. This is happening in Lucknow. I say interesting because there have been a lot of conversation off the ground when it comes to the pitch yet again. Zach wasn't very happy about the pitch that Lucknow played against Punjab. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow on the pitch.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. And I think what happens also is that Zach, as we have seen, we know him very well. He's a very strategic and a tactical person. I think he's put a little bit of pressure on the curators out there, saying that, okay, I don't necessarily need you to make my pitches, but don't make pitches that suit them. And I think it's a good thing for them, curators, to have that pressure also, because you want pitches that are, fair pitches. But obviously, every game, the game of cricket has always been about having some amount of hometown advantage. And I think there's nothing wrong in asking for that.
I also think it's a really smart move in a certain sense, because that particular franchise is under a lot of scrutiny because of what happened last year. They've not gone off to the best of starts. So this, in a way, is also deflecting a little bit of, the criticism that they might get to, it's wrong for me to say, but the curators won't get as much flack from social media. They will not get as much flack. They'll be like, oh, come on, you can't troll them. The players and the management get a lot of flack. So it's a very clever way of deflecting that flack for a little while. And like you said, it's strategic. So I think it makes sense, because in social media, you'll never troll the curators, because as we all know and we appreciate, they put in a lot of work.
Yes.
They do a lot of hard work to get, the ground ready, the pitch ready. So it's, I think, knowing Zach, as we all do, it's more a way of not really throwing the curators under the bus. It's A, getting a point across, and B, also deflecting a little bit from the team and the management.
Well, there's one person who's there going to, besides the curator and the pitch, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on Rishabh Pant. You think is going to be under pressure. We've seen what Venkatesh and Rinku have done, so hopefully tomorrow is his turn.
Yeah, and look, I think Rishabh is a kind of guy who he likes pressure. He likes pressure. He enjoys the pressure. He's the man. Okay, he is, and he considers himself to be that. And he is the kind of character who is very happy to go into a dressing room and tell guys you haven't played well, even though he hasn't played well himself, and he's okay with it because knows this. So he's somebody who naturally walks into that role. I do not. There are a lot of players who are. Sometimes it pays not to be so introspective or this thing. The way his natural ebullience will carry him through this. So I'm not so worried about Rishabh Pant as a player. I think as a team, their problem was that they built themselves for a bowling attack which was totally Indian, and because Zach being there, they picked some really good ones. They had Arshdeep, they had Avesh, they had so many of them. And then, injuries, Mohsin Khan, and injuries has absolutely decimated them. So I think that is what they're looking at and saying that can we get up at least another couple of bowlers back again. Of course, Shardul has fitted in fantastically for them, but I think they'll be really happy to see Akashdeep back for them. The
positive is Akashdeep is back. We'll have a look at that squad and see who he should replace or what's going to change around. Rohan, your predictions for the changing around tomorrow in the squad?
It's a very tough one to change, because you look at the batting, it's going to be Rishabh, Nicholas, David Miller, Markram. You're not going to see too many changes over there. Again, Mitchell Marsh he's not bowling, but he'll bat. Ayush Badoni has done well. Abdul Samad. Shardul's done well, so you're not going to really change him. Then you look at Yuvraj, Hangar Kekar, Arshan Kulkarni, and Shahbaz. Shahbaz Ahmed could be someone again with his all-round abilities. Avesh, Digvesh has done well.
They might take out Manimaran Siddharth and get this one back again. If
Akashdeep is fit, he comes in.
For Siddharth, for me, he comes in.
But again, if the pitch is a spinner-friendly pitch, it depends.
I think a lot would depend on what, like you're saying, what the pitch is. Because if
it turns,
it's a tough one. But you're thinking they might need to freshen things up a little bit.
Yes.
With the way they've gone, they might need to freshen things up a little bit. And you'd want Akashdeep if he's fit.
See, what is their formula? They have a very simple formula. Their batting is Pant plus 4 international players. Their bowling is
I think it's Puran plus Pant and Puran, PNP.
PNP and 3 other international batters up front. and then and Ayush Badoni, so you're there. But basically, international batting up front, Indian bowling. That's how their design is. Now the problem is they lost their Indian bowling. They've got it back a bit. Where I feel they're weak is in that middle part, because I hope the Indian bowling will get, sooner or later, injuries. They'll come back from injuries. They'll get it back. But that 5, 6, 7, do they have that finisher kind of guy? They use Abdul Samad, but Samad has been, for 4 years, SRH has tried him. He's never given you consistency. And I think that's the one thing that they require a little bit more finishing, middle order finishing abilities. I mean, Miller is supposed to do it for them, but I think that's the problem. Then Miller needs to come later and, have that chance to finish innings.
All right, then for MI, they have finally started their tournament because they wait for those 1-2 games. We are used to it now. So the third game...
It's a time zone issue, I mean, they're in the west of the country. Sun rises later, everything.
So now the sun has risen and they have got those first 2 points and comprehensive win against KKR. So they're coming in confident because everything seems to have gone correct for them. That one tick mark every MI and Indian fan wants is Rohit Sharma to fire.
Yeah, because look, I mean, when he fires, it just sets it up nicely for whether it's 50-over cricket or T20 cricket, it just sets it up nicely for the rest of the batters to follow. And they've got such a strong batting unit in terms of power hitting that if Rohit gets going, you'll be talking about this batting unit pretty similarly to what you talk about SRH. I'm not saying that, but it's pretty similar with the likes, with someone like Hardik coming and playing that role at number 5, number 6. Tilak Verma, again, I think, it's a very similar batting unit. So with Rohit getting runs, giving him the start that he has done in the past, it'll just make things a lot easier for the batters to follow.
Well, Rickington getting those runs was a big positive for them. No update on Bumrah, but dream debut. Bumrah, dream debut for Ashwin.
They said 3 matches. So
I think it might be a little longer. Because
longer is what the rumours are.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's my other issue. Okay, I'll tell you what the issue is. And this is a very interesting one because it involves psychology. What happens now is you have people in the NCA. They're physios, they're trainers, they're people out there. Okay. You have teams who are anxious to get their players back. Now, I know for a fact at least 2 franchises have told that players are literally saying, I am fit, please get me back. Please get me back. But the NCA is not allowing them to go. Now, I understand the situation. The problem is that an NCA person, we'll need to be 120% certain before he'll let a player go. Okay? The player, on the other hand, is thinking, you're taking away valuable playing time for me. But this guy can't let him go because in the off chance that injury recurs or, he's not fully fit, he's going to get into trouble. So the problem is there's a lot of frustration from both sides and you almost need a third authority to look at it and say, let's be sensible about this. He's fine. Let him go back. Because
Bumrah is a national treasure, so even more reason for them to take their time.
Yeah, I mean... People like Zach are spending more time calling up the NCA than looking at their players. I mean, that's literally it.
Yes. We'll have a look at Mumbai's squad. Rohan, any changes for you at all?
Well, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yes.
You've had a massive, massive win in the last game. Why would you want to change it? The only thing I can think of is, Rohit Sharma has been coming in as an impact player. Maybe get him onto the field. If you're fielding first, get him onto the field maybe for 4-5 overs. Just for him to get a feel of what's happening on the ground. And also the fact that, Rohit's a leader. When he'll be out there on the ground, and one of the natural traits of leaders and even ex-captains is that even if you're not captaining that particular match, you'll think as a captain.
Correct.
Your juices will start working. And that gets you in the game. You're thinking, maybe get him a little on the left, squarer, finer, do these bowling changes. That'll get his juices going. He'll be in, it won't be coming into bat straight from the cold. Yes. So I think maybe get Rohit onto the field if they're fielding first 3-4 overs earlier. Also when you're out on the field and you're seeing the way the pitch is behaving, is very different from how you see it when you're sitting inside on TV. You get a real first-hand closed view of it, and that also helps when you go out to bat. So maybe that's the one thing.
No, absolutely. I think he has a point to prove when he's there. I think the other one is they have to. I mean, Ashwini's done wonderfully for them, but Vignesh also did really well for them. So. If this pitch takes spin, then expect Vignesh to be back. The interesting thing will be for whom, because I think Ashwini's bowled well enough to almost cement his place there. He bowled beautifully. I mean, so it's interesting. I mean, again, credit to MI that.
The
scouts. Oof,
yes.
Every time. I mean, I used to tell you, when we were in KKR, the one thing I used to always say is that just bid on every young player
That
MI is bidding on.
Well, they clearly have got some skill there with their scouts. We need your skills now to find your players to watch out for tomorrow. One from each team.
Well, I'm going to go with Rohit Sharma because I think a lot of eyes will be on him. So I'm going to go with Rohit, and I think he's going to do well from MI. Who would you pick from MI?
You know what? Today is the day because he's been a fantastic player. I'm going to go with Rohit as well. And just for the sake that I think our man needs to,
yes,
the hitman.
It's high time.
The IPL needs the hitman back.
It's
sorry,
high
I'm with you. I'm not going
And
to
for LSG, I'm going to go with, again, a lot of eyes on Rishabh Pant. So I'm going to go with Rishabh Pant for LSG.
I just love watching Nicholas Puran play. So he's just such a good player. So I'm going to go with him.
All right, we'll wait and watch. And I think not only MI fans, I think Indian fans just want to watch Rohit, the hitman, do what he does. So fingers crossed on that. Time for you to take it over, Mr. Bhattacharya, all yours. I don't think you gave it thought, Rohan.
No, but I think Rohan almost got it there.
With a little bit of help from Joy,
Rohan got that. Here's the one, Ali Brown, Travis Head are two of the only 4 players. Name the other 2. Both are Indians. One of them is somebody we've been talking about all this while. The answer, of course, is people who have hit 2 double centuries in List A or international or one-day internationals.
Well done,
Rohit
Rohan.
Sharma is one of them, of course. And double centuries, he got them in ODIs. But Prithvi Shaw also has hit 2 List A double hundreds. And, I still, whenever I see batting squads and 9, I still think of that player and think, I just hope again, like Rohit Sharma playing tomorrow, I hope Prithvi Shaw makes it back. There's too much talent for him not to come back.
Besides Rohan, let's have a look at who's won it because he's got an 8 out of 10 record now.
Ooh, yeah.
Austin Di Kona.
Austin. Well done, Austin.
Pant, Kohli, Bhogle. So he leaves nothing to chance.
Yeah.
No, I know that Austin is a big fan of Harsha and he's tweeted a lot. I'm sorry that Harsha is not in the studio today, but we'll get him to say the hellos and I love you and whatever else you want. But thank you so much for getting this answer in. Should we look at that guessing game?
I thought we were that scoreboard was coming up.
That scoreboard you're doing well at. I have still to open my account.
I know how that feels. It took me 8 days to open my account, but I see a smiling face there. Please let's show it for Rohan.
Percentage. Hey,
Ooh,
it's gone down.
Where? How did it go down?
I was on 33. How's it gone on to 25?
How many did you do today? 1 out of 2? You should still be 50.
No, 1 out of 4.
1 out of 4. Okay, that's...
Well, I really don't know when I'm going to come on to the first class side because right now I don't know. It's not looking
Don't
good.
worry. This is life.
It's a long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I like the marathons. That's what I do.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's not looking good, the start for me. We'll hopefully hope that it changes with time. I'm seeing Joyda tomorrow.
And me day after.
And you day after. Thank you so much for making this game quick, entertaining. I know it was stressful for KKR fans, but you all kept your cool. So thank you for all the entertainment. And of course, it's settled that Calcutta Biryani wins. We know that. We said in the pre-match show and we end by saying that the Calcutta Biryani wins. We will be back tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Voltas Fresh Air Coolers presents Cricbuzz Live.
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ ಚೆನ್ನೈ
Hyderabad Express, Vaibhav Station, Netaji Obot.